Aaron, another question that's come up frequently from our listeners is that they are in a role, in a company, in a division or department, and they've seen pretty stable revenue growth, but they're just unable to break through, right? It's a little bit stalled. I'm wondering if you have any guidance on how to link starting up a business with errors made on kind of flatlining revenue when you're running an existing book of business.
I love this question because I think it's a trap that everybody falls into. And this applies to our intrapreneurs and our entrepreneurs, definitely. What we see is that when people become too tactical, they're just focused on incremental changes. And we speak a lot about the 10X. I mean, that being too tactical, that's 1X thinking, right? So I want to increase my revenue by 10% or 20%. And that's what's going to keep you in this box because you're not looking for the key leverage points within the business that are going to give you that hyper growth, that 10X growth. And so to be able to do that, you have to truly think strategically. So you have to take a step back and have to say, okay, let's look across. And you and I know this. I'm just coming to mind. There's an opportunity we're working on together where the business has been very tactically focused. They've essentially had one product that they've brought to market, and that's all they're focused on selling. And it's a phenomenal product, very complex, which is an indicator that they should be doing something else. The messaging is not so clear, but they've been getting some good growth with it. Not 10X growth. It's the 1X or maybe even 2X growth. So as you and I have helped that business, we've stepped back. All we've done is really take a strategic look and identify the leverage points. And what we found is that across that, they're not capitalizing on this lifetime value of a customer. And so they've developed phenomenal relationships and they've capped the potential that they can achieve, revenue they can generate from those because essentially they only have one product to sell. And so in our 10X thinking, the strategic thinking, we've identified that there's enormous potential. I think 10 or even 100X growth they're going to achieve just by looking at some of their clients and their relationships in a different way and thinking about all the other things that they can bring into the picture. So being much, much more strategic.
So reframing that. So don't get stuck in the weeds of tactical play. You really have to pull yourselves out, really think about what is a strategy to maybe do things a little differently or maybe more innovatively.
Yeah, and I'll just add one point there because our entrepreneur listeners might be listening to that and saying, okay, that's fine, but I don't run a business. So how can I identify my leverage points? So the answer there is you have to look outside of your role, right? Because if you're just doing your job according to your job description, that's 1X thinking. You got to take a step back and you got to say, hey, let me look at my boss or my boss's boss and like, what do they need? What do they want? What does the business want? How can I help affect change in the business? And then think strategically about how you can help advance towards that goal, not taking away from your tactical, like doing your job, but thinking outside of that. And if you can come up with a model that you can truly help that company achieve gains outside of the traditional business, that's something that will allow you to break out of that 1X type thinking and achieve a 10X thinking within the entrepreneur type environment.
I'm so pleased you raised that. You know, as you're talking through 1X thinking, I reflect back to my career where I partnered up with Microsoft. I sat actually as a chair on women in technology and put myself out there into the Microsoft partner community. It had nothing to do with my day job.
Right.
Nothing at all. But I did value the fact that networking was crucial to any business relationship.
Now, was that something your boss asked you to do, or just you took initiative and did it yourself?
Took the initiative because, to your point, you have to think a little bit more innovatively. And there was a market gap with certain technology that as a professional services firm, if we could offer, would really scale additional revenue because there was a sore spot that needed to be filled. And back to where you and I have been doing a lot of conversing on is ownership mentality.
100%. I was going to say the same thing.
So I would almost liken 1X thinking to non-ownership thinking and 10X thinking to ownership thinking.
Yes.
And if we can help our listeners scrap away, whether you're in a corporation, whether you're in your own startup or somewhere in between, maybe you're part of a family business, when you get rid of that 1X thinking, really, the world is possible to deliver anything you want.
1X is you're a victim, 10X is you're an owner.